If you run for office in 2024, you going to run as a Democrat?
Chuck, I haven't made a decision what I'm going to do in 2024.
Isn't that fun? I mean, why should the Democratic Party and Democratic voters have any reason to believe when they elect and then re-elect a guy from a party that he won't turn tail and run to independence if he feels like that'll save him? But here's the thing, Chuck Todd is asking Joe Manchin about running for re-election to the Senate. As bad as and as annoying as that might be, what if his eyes were set at a higher prize? Take a look at this.
What's on the table? Is re-election on the table?
Everything's on the table.
Is running for governor on the table or no?
No, I've done that.
That you've ruled out.
I've done that. Yeah.
So everything on the table, there's basically only one other thing, the presidency. Is that something you would do outside the Democratic Party?
The only thing I can tell you is what I will do is whatever I can when I make my decision, what I think is the best that I can support and represent the people of West Virginia, but also be true to this country and the Constitution of this country.
That sounds like somebody that's looking for a way into national politics.
Well, every senator is on a national.
I understand that, but you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going, and the bottom line is
you're not telling me no.
I'm telling you that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that when I make my decision, I make it based on what's best, what I think I can do to support and best for my country and my state.
We're going to get to Joe Manchin in just a sec, but I need to stop just briefly for my favorite person in the news, Chuck Todd. This is why so many people dislike him. He was talking to Joe Manchin about the possibility of this guy who has repeatedly and intentionally, by design, because he was bought, stymied Joe Biden's agenda, an agenda that got Joe Biden elected to the presidency. And Chuck Todd was talking to him like he was talking to an actress about a possible pregnancy. You sound like a person that's like, maybe considering it. Is that a thing? Like, what do you talk? Like, you're supposed to technically be a journalist. Certainly you would say, compared to a chucklehead on YouTube like me, that you're a journalist. Like, oh, maybe you run for the presidency. He is wildly unpopular. Why would he have any chance? Why are you pretending that that's a possibility? And when he repeatedly says, the only thing I care about is representing the people, you could have maybe prepared a couple of stats on the votes he's taken versus what people in West Virginia actually want, what they've repeatedly voted for. You could do that. You could provide like 3 neurons worth of pushback against the narrative that he is trying to push. But of course, Chuck Todd is not there to do that. He has been put on TV by the same people that put Joe Manchin in the Senate. And so instead, we get that vapid conversation about one of the least popular politicians in the country potentially running for the presidency. Jayar.
Of course we do. Because again, and I said this when I went to DC the first time I went there, and I was milling around, going near the Capitol, and just general space where you may see folks that are working. Yo, these folks walk around, these politicians walk around like they're Hollywood stars or something, because it's like it's Hollywood East. DC, from the folks that are elected officials, especially ones that are known well, like Manchin and people like that, they walk around and as soon as someone sees them, they're like, yeah, they know who I am. And they're treated the same way by media that interview them. So running for the presidency is always that conversation. Liz Cheney went through it. Of course, Donald Trump goes through it. Ron DeSantis is gonna go through it. And they start asking these questions with this giddy nature like, are you gonna run for president? Because this is the most exciting news ever. Not, why are you running for president? What is it you're gonna do when you run for president? Yeah. What is it that's motivated you to do so? Why would you run against someone else in this particular situation? He tried to sneak in there, would you run as an independent or potentially a Republican? He tried, but instead it turns to the joking nature of, well, you know what I'm trying to ask? Come on, Manchin, you know what I'm trying to ask? Well, just ask it. And then afterwards, ask him why. That won't come because the end of the headline is, Joe Manchin might run for president. And the reasons why I don't think Chuck Todd should lose his job, but the reasons why so many people dislike him, but then the network does, is because that is the job. Get that headline out, get that question in. Why and what you're gonna do is absolutely irrelevant. The headline is there.
Yeah, 100%. You could then transition into an so if you run for president, obviously you're gonna need to raise a lot of money. Do you believe that the fact that like you clearly are corrupt when it comes to fossil fuel industry is gonna lead to a lot of donations to your campaign from them? Like he could make it substantive. If you're gonna make it about a guy who is definitely never gonna be president, if that's the conversation, you could at least try to inject a little bit of substance into it. For instance, you could ask him about the fact that he's introducing a bill to delay EV tax credits. Because again, this dude, like, is he secretly married to the concept of an inhabitable Earth? Like, is that like a thing in the? This is a part of the bill that was already passed, the IRA, that would reduce the cost of electric vehicles. He goes on TV and says constantly, I'm just here to help the people of West Virginia by making sure that they have to pay $2,500 more if they ever buy an electric car. It's mad. It's maddening.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.